Welcome back to episode 113 of the Disorganized Lizard Club podcast. My name is Alex, and here as always with Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hey.
And we're a group of Ottawa's players that play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
We're back, baby.
First
New
episode
year,
of 2019.
new
New year, same DWC.
Still confused. Still disorganized.
What's our New Year's resolutions as a
What-
podcast?
Where? What day? What year is this? What year is this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't thought of any.
Should we make one?
Well, it's definitely not to be more organized.
Hell no.
God, get out of here.
You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be. You know what? I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna play the main event of GP Toronto. That's my New Year's resolution. To play more main event. To get out there. And sling
Play
some
more
wood.
Magic Fests.
To play more Magic Fests.
That'd be a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the last year or so, I was just.
Have you
so-
played any?
In a year? No.
Yeah.
No, because I was so miserable and busy, and I was so broke at the time. I was literally like, Cam was buying my girl, like paying for. Well, I'd pay him back later, but there was like a period where like Cam was literally buying my groceries for me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I couldn't have.
That's how you know you've
Good
hit
guy,
rock
Cam.
bottom.
Yeah, dude, that's how you know you're in the dirt. Like, go and get groceries.
I mean,
Cam.
it's not rock bottom. He could have been relying on someone a lot less respectable than me.
That's true. Actually, that's true.
That was the joke.
I'm just trying to save face.
But yeah, it was dark times. So I couldn't really
Yeah.
justify $100 on a Magic Fest. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
Come summer / fall, I'll have more time as well because I'll be done taking courses during the semesters.
Yeah.
So I'll have more flexible schedules.
you'll just be working on the old research arena.
Yeah, that and like probably like TAing Monday to Wednesday. But then I could like leave early on like Fridays.
Yeah. I have Fridays off this semester actually, so like
Nice.
I'm ready to go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I have some vacation days saved up.
So yeah, well, I mean, we're going to Toronto. We already know
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't we're gonna go to Syracuse too in
That's
a
in
standard event.
May.
in May,
Yeah.
like the SCG Syracuse, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna start looking at other stuff too. Like
There's one in March as well in Syracuse, but it's Legacy.
ooh, I'm gonna go to that maybe.
Yeah.
And then also there's when's the Niagara Falls
Ooh.
GP?
Yeah.
Stateside, right?
Yeah, it's
That is
stateside, but we
stateside.
should go.
Yeah.
100% we should go.
What format?
Ooh.
I don't remember, but I mean, we play regardless, right?
Yeah.
It's a sweet like vacate, you know. And if it's in the summer, it'll be fun, like really fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, either way, like
I was actually looking at that the other day.
that's my resolution. Start.
It's in April. April 19th to 22nd.
That like right in the middle of exams.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Don't need to be here.
My final exam for my course is on April 27th, so I'm in the clear.
I have no idea when mine are.
Has it? I don't even think the form. Oh, has the format been announced? No, it hasn't.
Oh yeah, because they're doing this like
Oh, maybe it's an arena tournament.
just play from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys just got back from the homeland not too long ago, eh?
Yep.
How's being back in good old Alberta?
Yeah, it was great, but it's yeah. Nostalgia Tour 2018 was a little hard on the soul.
Yeah.
My trip was good.
took some out of you, eh?
Yeah, it's like it takes a few chips off you, you know, like it eats away at you a bit, but
Oh no.
because you can never go home.
Niagara Falls is Legacy.
Hype. Oh,
Damn it.
you guys want to fly to Calgary for Magic Fest? Speaking of Alberta,
Actually, you know what? So I was looking at
really?
it's so expensive to fly.
I was
Yeah.
actually booking time off. I have to use some of my vacation days up before like April or something
Yeah.
because I'm not allowed to carry them over, I guess.
Okay.
And the weekend before Magic Fest Calgary is Nashville is playing in Winnipeg.
Can you pronounce Magic Fest Calgary again for me?
Magic Fest Calgary. Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah.
How are you supposed
Everyone
to say
says it Calgary who isn't from there.
They say Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah.
It was close. You were borderline close to
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
Calgary, but you said it quickly, so it's hard to tell. But it's
Calgary?
Calgary.
There's no A.
That is how I say it, Calgary.
Okay, that's
That was better.
Yeah.
The first time it was a little long.
Okay.
Like it was like longer. You
Okay.
can always tell when someone, isn't. It's just,
you ain't from around here.
Here for, being home. Let me tell you. Spend some time with some rednecks. You can.
How far is Calgary from Winnipeg?
far.
like a day.
Damn.
13 hours.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Because it's a 10-hour drive from
So
Medicine.
there's a province in between.
Yeah. You got to go through glorious Saskatchewan.
I don't know. Everything west of Ontario is just the same thing, right?
Yeah, that is how it
Yeah.
works, actually, because
Yeah.
everyone in Alberta, because they'll say to me, oh, you going back out east?
Yeah.
Because
It's always out east.
east is Ontario, and then there's Quebec, and then the Maritimes don't exist.
Yeah.
For Albertans, like, that's just how it is. But yeah, I ran roughshod over a small town draft while I was home. That's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a modern event, but I declined to play in it.
Smart.
I didn't bring a modern deck, and also like, I already felt bad because I was just smurfing. Like when I went there to draft, like I drafted Boros, and my deck had like 4 Healer Hawks, like double Sunhome Stalwart, and
Oh no.
3 Wojek Bodyguards. Like
No.
Jeez.
it just wasn't close or fun.
For anyone but you.
No, it wasn't fun for me either. Like it was just smurfing. Like it was just miserable, And I was like, because they're all just playing for fun. Like they're four fun gamers,
You don't play for fun.
I didn't want to like show up to their modern because like my buddy who lives there but doesn't play locally in paper, he plays online and travels for tournaments. Like because of this exact thing. Like there was a modern event and I was like, I'll borrow his KCI tournament. Like, you know what I mean? And, and then I'm like, wait, like that's why he doesn't play. It's like feels bad. Everyone's like playing their fun modern deck, like their modern zombies deck with like, Grouse Messenger, and I'm just like KCIing them, like it's not.
That sounds sweet.
I don't know. Like I just didn't, It's just a different world, right? Like in like smaller places when there isn't really like competitive scenes in the same way.
Mhm.
Like everyone's just kind of like playing for fun. It's like
Playing for fun. Yikes.
yeah. Well, it's just a different conception of fun. Like smashing people is obviously fun,
Mhm.
but like only when we agreed that someone's getting smashed, like, and I have the potential to get smashed back.
Yeah.
It's like, prize fighting is fun
Uh-huh.
if we're in agreement that we're in a fair prize fight.
But if one
But if,
fighter
like-
is missing an arm,
Right.
Then
And
it's
you're
just
just
kinda-
wailing on some guy in the street who didn't agree to fight. It's not fun. That's bad. Like that's
well said.
right. Like that's not what, that's
Mhm.
not what I'm here for. But yeah, otherwise it was a lot of fun. Drank a lot of beer. Just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Well,
I just
you-
drove around a lot. So my parents have an acreage outside of Red Deer, which is right in between Calgary and Edmonton. So I spent like 2 days there. Then I went up to Edmonton for 2 days. Then I spent an evening back in Red Deer. Then I drove through Banff down to Invermere, which is like a sort of small skiing town in the mountains in BC. Was there for 2 days. Then went back to my parents for 3 days and then flew home.
Wow.
So I was just all over.
You weren't even gone for that long, right?
No, only like 10 days, 10 or 11 days.
Yeah, you were all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did a lot of driving as well. Yeah, that's a prairie thing though. You just
Yeah.
to get anywhere, you have to drive 5 hours.
Yeah. And the day I drove down to Invermere, there had been like a snowstorm. There was no snow near Calgary. They were in the middle of like a huge Chinook. But sort of around Red Deer, there was this huge snowstorm. And at one point, everyone's going like 70, 80 on the highway and they start all slowing down. And like out of the snow blowing across the road emerges this parked fire truck just across all the lanes on the highway. And a guy like directing us onto the gravel. Just the main highway was closed. There was no wreck or anything. I don't know why they closed it, but that's the first time I've seen just a fire truck across the highway.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
But otherwise, all the roads were good. Just driving around the mountains.
Yeah, it was plus 10 when I left, and yeah, it was great. There was no snow on the ground the whole time I was home. I mean, Medicine Hat, at least. Saskatoon, different story, but yeah.
Well, it was a lot of snow when it was really cold up here.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's terrible here.
Mhm.
Yeah. For some reason, the southern prairies are pretty nice.
They're just so far south,
It's further south here, actually. It's just they get Chinooks, like warm wind from the ocean. Somehow gets all the way across the mountains.
I don't know where it comes from,
How
where the
does that
warm wind
work?
comes from, but
Yeah, how's that work?
I don't know,
Where's all the warm wind come
all them hot-headed Americans.
Well, I'm not what is it, climatologist? What is this?
Yeah.
I don't know how weather works.
Me neither.
All I know is it's longer to fly home than it is to fly back because of the winds.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours to fly back. That was not bad, actually. It was
Yeah,
a
it's like
3 hour, 5 minute
It's like
flight.
4.5 on the way here.
Yeah. It's
Or on the way out there.
On the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
out there, it's like an hour longer. Yeah.
It's
An hour and a half longer. Yeah. It's brutal, man.
And that's really just
Yeah.
because of the winds?
Yep.
Hmm.
And it's 3 hours otherwise.
Wow.
Or on the way back here, yeah. It's fast.
Wow.
Yeah, because I could only watch one Avengers movie, and I watched 2 on the way there.
Wow. How lucky.
God, I hate flying.
I don't mind it. It's not, I don't know. I thought I would hate it because I'm very afraid of heights, but it's not really.
Oh, yeah.
It's not really like that.
No.
Yeah.
There's like a cutoff point in my mind where like if a flight is an hour and a half long or less, it's sweet because they don't go that high. You get to like look out at the countryside.
Yeah.
And it feels like it takes 10 minutes between takeoff. You're in the air for what feels like a short amount of time. Then you land and it's like scenic the entire time. But if it's like 2 or 3 hours, whatever, it's just like boring. And if it's anything longer than that, then it's miserable. Then your legs start cramping. Then you just get bored. Then you have nothing to do. And then
Yeah. The flight from essentially coast to coast in Canada is like, it's just so miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And also I hate the hurry up and wait of it all. Like you go through security so early and then you just
in case something goes wrong.
Just in case, and then you just sit there for hours. It's just like
I got
whole day is
to the
just
airport
blown.
in Edmonton like 2.5 hours early because there was a typo on my ticket. I must have like fat fingered or whatever. So I wanted to check in manually to get them to fix my name so that they'd let me on the plane. So I showed up early enough for that to happen. Waited in like a line for 10 minutes, not actually that long. They fixed it. And then got directed out of the main security line into like this, I don't know, secondary line that took 10 minutes to get through security. And then I just had nothing to do for 2 hours.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I just hate the hurry up and wait of like, we got to be there at this time. Oh my God, we got to hurry. And then you get there and you're like, oh, we hurried so we can wait for an hour.
Yeah, but like you have to though, because if you don't,
And something
then
goes-
you'll get stuck in security and then you'll miss your flight.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, I just hate it. But the flight from, like, I flew from Medicine to Calgary to Medicine both times.
Mhm.
That flight's 40 minutes, right? It's sweet because, like, you can see out the window the whole time.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like a small 16-person, jet. You sit right, I was sitting right at the front. I think I sent a picture of it. It was like, I could see the pilot into the cockpit. I was like sitting right at the very front.
Oh, yeah.
So it felt like I just watched everything, like
That's
watched it
sweet.
take off, and I never got to do that really before. So see how they like, I don't know, do everything. It was pretty cool actually, and like what they see and everything.
yeah. So you
So it's
mentioned this
tiny jet.
as well, that your flight attendants were asking women to sit at the back of the plane for weight balancing issues.
Yeah, on this tiny jet that I took.
Yeah. And then I was on a short flight from Toronto to Ottawa, and they were also rearranging some of the guests on the flight for weight balancing issues. Now, I'm not saying I planned this out, but I have a question. There's all this new security where they lock the door and stuff so that planes can't be hijacked. But what if everyone just stood up and ran to the back of the plane?
I don't know.
Well, now we're on a watch list. God damn it! Why did you? Now we're on some list somewhere.
Like if it's
'cause you
this
said
big of
this.
that seems like a lot of power to give to the guests. It can't be that big of an issue, can it?
Right,
Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, although this flight was actually, it was one of the few, I've been scared on 2 flights. I've
Mhm.
flown a lot in my life, and this was one of the ones I was actually kind of scared. Because at one point, it's where the plane almost turned sideways,
Mm.
because the turbulence and the wind was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's maybe why they were trying to balance, because they knew there was going to be a really bad wind. Because there was like a huge wind warning
Oh, okay.
the day I flew. And it was actually like at one point it felt like we almost turned fully sideways. I was like, that can't be good. And it
I've
was
been on a
really,
flight like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I actually a lot of I hate seatbelts. Cam knows this
Mhm.
because I got yelled at by that Uber driver. Just couldn't believe me when I wouldn't put on my seatbelt. Remember that time?
Oh, yeah.
And he was mad. I hate seatbelts. I don't know why. I just hate them, and I never wear them. And that's why I hate cars that auto beep
Hmm.
when you don't put your seatbelt. It drives me nuts, and they all do it now. I know I shouldn't. I just anyway, doesn't matter. But on planes, I'm like, you're dead anyway.
Yeah.
You're dead AF. Just hit the concede button. Like, you know what I mean? And so I didn't have my seatbelt on,
Hmm.
and I actually put it on because in mid-flight because like it was so bad that I was bumping out of my
Out of your
like
seat.
flying up out of my seat. I was like, oh geez, there's a circus ride over here. Yeah, it was
Jesus.
pretty crazy.
Hmm.
It was one of the other bad time was even worse. It was like really bad. I thought we were gonna die. It was so bad that everyone clapped when we landed. I'm not kidding. The whole plane cheered because I'm pretty sure we all thought we were just dead.
Yeah.
It was
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, we've derailed long enough. Let's talk about some magic. Double modern this past weekend, GP Oakland and SCG Columbus.
billions of matches in modern.
Tons of modern. And
4 matches per round.
coming out of this weekend, I think the deck most people are talking about are KCI again.
Yep.
put 4 copies in the top 8 of Oakland.
That's a lot.
It was on most teams in the SCG event, I think. It's been incredibly dominant.
In a format that also it doesn't have a lion's share of the metagame. And in an incredibly diverse format, it takes up a huge percentage of the winning decks. That's, you know what I mean?
And even more in its favor, it's not like it came out of nowhere this weekend. It's been doing well recently.
Yeah.
So it's not like people wouldn't have had hate for it.
Oh, people had tons of hate. If you look at the deck list, people have hate for the mirror. You know what I mean? Like every deck has tons of hate for it. And it's not working.
It just doesn't seem to matter. Has it missed a top 8?
In a while? I don't think so.
I can't really think of a
Not in the
tournament.
last couple months.
Yeah. It's just every modern Grand Prix at top 8s.
Yes.
Yeah. Deck's good.
Yeah. Matt Nass is in this top 8 playing today.
Yeah, again. Yeah.
Shocker. He just can't stop, won't stop.
No. So, I mean,
Ban Matt Nass. Remember originally we said ban Matt Nass?
Yeah.
Because he was the only one winning? Well, it turns out other people figured it out. And
yeah.
the deck's actually just busted.
So, I mean, where we go from here? Are we at the point now where we have to actually consider removing this card from the format, or what are we thinking?
I still don't know. I would give it a bit more time. I know. I think taking a ban action now is still too early.
Yeah.
I would wait.
Maybe there's some sweet last minute card they printed in Ravnica Allegiances that hasn't been spoiled yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for the Assassin's Trophy of this spoiler.
This
to
kills
kill
KCI.
Tron and kill KCI. Is there a bigger miss on the hype than the Assassin's Trophy? Like, because it was like the coming of Christ, right?
It went exactly as I expected.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that was there was a big divide there between expectations and reality.
Yeah. Well, there's been bigger misses actually, but yeah. Anyway, it's a funny one. But yeah, KCI, I think I would give it maybe the metagame moves. Like it's possible the metagame moves in a direction that KCI becomes not great. But then that begs the question of, well, what's great versus KCI that it could punish it so hard that it pushes it away out of the meta. And it has to also in modern be enough things doing it. Like enough things have to be capable of hating you out. Like sideboard cards, like another deck that starts taking up a larger share of the metagame. Like a lot of things need to sort of come together to hate you out. And I think part of the problem is that Humans is sort of fallen out. And Humans is a deck that probably has an okay KCI matchup.
Yeah.
And it did. It definitely did. But Humans has sort of fallen to the wayside for Banned Spirits, which I think probably has a worse KCI matchup than Humans, just because of Meddling Mage.
Yeah.
Meddling Mage just makes your combo matchups better than Spirits decks will be. Like that's just, you know what I mean?
That's just a fact.
Yeah, it is. Like it just matters a lot. You know, the fact that it can Meddling Mage KCI and then just beat you to death.
Why isn't Spirits just playing Meddling Mage?
It's not a spirit cam.
That is a good question though. I could see that. I could see a world where they could hate out KCI.
Don't they play a couple other non-spirits?
Not really.
Hierarchs or
Hierarchs.
Well, yeah, they play Hierarchs. Some versions of the deck were playing a couple copies of Reflector
I was gonna
Mage.
say, yeah. Did they? I think they might play one or two.
And then they play like Thalia in the board.
like if you're worried about KCI, just replace your Reflector Mages with Meddling Mages.
Yeah.
Tag in a different wizard.
I mean, like Banned Spirits has ways to beat that deck. It's aggressive.
Banned Spirits.
You have Spell Queller. Like it. I don't really.
It's just if you draw the wrong half. That's all. That's all it is with
Like-
Banned Spirits. Like if you draw your Rattle Chains and Lords, you're dead. If you draw interaction, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't think Banned has a bad matchup versus KCI, but it doesn't have as good as one as Humans does. Yeah.
And even Humans though can also just whiff and die. Like that's just
Exactly, yeah.
that's the thing. And KCI probably ain't whiffing. You are gonna whiff versus KCI, but they aren't. That's the problem. The deck's too consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, another deck that's been really picking up in popularity recently is the Blue-Red Phoenix decks, which it actually won Oakland this past weekend.
Because that guy, although, so by the way, him and his orthodontist shoes have been on a tear.
Yeah, it's 2 GPs.
That guy has been kicking around.
Yeah. 2 GPs within the last year he's won.
Yeah, and with different formats and different decks. Although, interestingly, Crackling Drakes and all of them.
Yeah.
And maybe he took like a year off from his professional practice or something.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But he's just been smashing. But he was doing well in SCG events leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous year, he also had top 8'd a few GPs. He didn't win them, but he started top 8'ing quite a few. He's been like doing really well. Yeah, you don't want to play against that guy.
But yeah, his this Arclight Phoenix thing in the ice deck is kind of like you mentioned in the pre-show. This is kind of the Delver of the format now.
Yeah, I think it's the deck that you want to play to beat an unfair field, right? Like it's a creature deck, but it has game versus, unfair decks.
Yeah.
And it can beat creature decks, right? Like it's kind of, it's like, seems like it's right now the fairer deck of the format, which is weird because it's not. Like it's, I'm just described a deck that plays Pyromancer's Ascension, Elikazis's version at least, which I think is really spicy and really sweet as a fair deck. So I'm obviously insane here. Well, that's Modern is in an insane place. But yeah, the deck can you can play against everything, right? Like he's got Flame Slashes for the mirror to beat opposing Crackling Drakes and other things, which I think is also Thing in the Ice, right? Yeah. Flame Slash gets Thing in the Ice, it gets Crackling Drake, like it's really good. So he has that, and also just gets creatures, just stuff in humans. He has, Lightning Bolts, obviously, like he's still playing 4.
Yep.
So this deck can play the spot removal for the fair decks, but the Lightning Bolts, Arclight Phoenix, Thing in the Ice, you can flip them pretty fast, and they put pressure, onto combo decks. Like game 1, you're not great. Like you got an Izzet Charm that you're hoping to stop something with, like like a combo. But post board, you have Ceremonious Rejections. He's splashing red for Ancient Grudge. You have like Surgical Extraction. You have Blood Moons for other decks. Like you just have a lot of good sideboard options. And there were other decks splashing white actually instead of green. Does he even have the green? Yeah.
He's got a breeding pool.
Right. Yeah, that's right. There were ones splashing white for Stony Silence and Rest in Peace, which is a sweet combo with your Crackling Drake because you just board out your Phoenixes, obviously, but your Crackling Drake still gets big because it counts in exile for all your spells. So, and then you get access to Stony Silence, which is huge.
Yeah, and you can just bring in your Young Pyromancer package when you do that, and then
and then you're good to go. So it has a strong. I think game 1 versus KCI isn't good, but post board it's good. Like it's you can make your deck quite good versus KCI post board. So yeah, I think this deck, the Phoenix deck. Like if I were to play a GP tomorrow, I'd play the Phoenix deck. I think it is really powerful and has lots of options and can be good versus lots of things. And you can sort of like toolbox the deck in really unique different ways, right? Like he's playing, 2 Pyromancer Ascensions, right? But you could play lots of different cards if you know what I mean? The sort of blue-red package, like, we've seen, it's funny, like, that Pro Tour that Jerry Thompson lost in the finals?
Yeah.
With Lantern in the finals or whatever? That tournament, there were 2 blue-red decks. Do you remember?
Yeah.
There were 2 in the top 8.
Yeah.
And then they just never saw play. But Thing in the Ice smashed that Pro Tour. And then just never, you know what I mean? It's like it took a long time for Thing in the Ice to sort of see play.
Yeah, but now it's really found a home that it's spectacular in.
Yeah, like it seemed just insane in this deck, right?
Yeah, because before, like what decks were playing it saw some play in like Storm sideboards. But there weren't really any.
And then just like the weird blue-red Blood Moon, sort of blue-red, creature-ish control, like, you know what I mean?
It was alongside Bedlam Reveler for a while, right?
Yeah, they were playing like Bedlam, I think, and Young Pyro even. It was like blue-red Young Pyro with Thing in the Ice. It just didn't, but that deck just didn't have the speed, I think, to beat other things, whereas now with Phoenix, it can be a little faster, maybe?
Well, yeah, because you already want to be this deck filled with spells just for your Arclight Phoenix plan, and then just having this Thing in the Ice as well is just another angle you get to attack from.
Yeah,
that
it just
holds the ground as well and helps you beat these creature decks that would theoretically be racing you if you're trying to be cute with your Arclight Phoenix plan, right?
Yeah, and Bedlam Reveler is sort of not in this list, but you can still play it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people have seemed to move away from it, but I'm just seeing there's lots of ways to build the Phoenix deck. It's just, these decks in general just gave Thing in the Ice a home, because that card's insanely powerful.
Yeah.
It's
is.
huge.
Yeah. This deck is definitely very well positioned right now. And I mean, there's more modern events coming up. I don't think anyone's going to be putting down KCI anytime soon.
Unless they ban it, absolutely not.
So,
And I think that there are still creature decks that you can choose from, like Banned Spirits, obviously. Had some decent showings this weekend as well.
mm-hmm.
You know, a couple Mad Lads still playing blue-white control, which, you know, the deck's still okay.
It has to be okay versus KCI, right?
Like, it's okay. It's pretty strong, and it isn't okay versus lots of things. Like blue-white is still a good deck. It just doesn't have like free wins in the same way that a lot of these other decks do in Modern, which I think is an important aspect of Modern. Like, you're going to have to actually win all your matches. You're going to have to fight for it, you know?
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
Yeah, no thanks.
Not me. Yeah.
But yeah, Modern's in an interesting place. You know, I think for the last year and a half, one of the recurring things on this podcast was a shift from us saying, you know, 2 years ago, if you asked us, we'd be like, this format's garbage. Like, we hate it, blah, blah, blah. We complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the last year and a half, actually, you would often hear us say, no, Modern's in a really healthy place. I wouldn't ban or unban anything. Like, it's in a really good spot. And now it's back to this question of, okay, well, this is not looking very healthy anymore. But I would still say give it a bit of time. I want to wait. You know what I mean? I'm really hesitant to pull the trigger on saying, like, yeah, ban this card. Even though I saw, like, Andrea Mangucci had that tweet, right? Like, keep this sick, disgusting format.
Oh, yeah, off the Pro Tour.
Off the Pro Tour. Like, if you're going to allow, like, these gross, disgusting decks to continue to exist that are just miserable, like, you know what I mean? Like, keep it off the Pro Tour, which is pretty extreme reaction.
Yeah, that dude hates Modern, though.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of people also agree. Like, PV, like, Paulo says the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I think you can wait, maybe, and it'll sort itself out.
I mean, so I'd be surprised if this wasn't the peak of KCI's performance and appearance.
Yeah, that's
like if it goes up from here, you probably have to do something. But it would be wild if it went up from here.
If the next GP is just 6 copies,
because it's been slowly climbing, and 4 in a top 8 is bad, but like probably goes down from there.
Yeah, if it's only 1 or 2 next time, then I'm okay. But if it's 4 again, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, like I'm trying to think back to the kind of patterns we saw with decks like Birthing Pod or Splinter Twin. Like, where was it? It wasn't ever like completely filling top 8s, but there was always a couple copies.
It was always 2 to 3. Like, you know what I mean?
Which is what we've been seeing.
Right. That is a problem
already.
Yeah. That is a sort of bannable offense, it seems, in Modern. That if you're just in every single top 8 for years and years, then they say, well, but it has to be for a long time. You're just putting a couple in, then they'll say, well, maybe this is a problem.
Because like Modern isn't a format where we see 6 copies of the same deck on a top 8. That just doesn't happen.
No. Then ever. that's Eldrazi Winter. Like, something is terribly, terribly wrong.
And even having 4 copies of one deck on top 8 is an anomaly.
That's a massive
anomaly. Does not
anomaly.
happen in Modern.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And the fact that it was also all over the SCG on the weekend is also a problem. So, but I want to see, because I don't play as much Modern as I should, and I know Legacy and Standard better, I want to wait and see if maybe people have answers to this. You know what I mean? Like, if the metagame will self-correct in any way.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, like if even if there's 3 KCI in the next Modern event, I think then you have to start considering. If it's 3, then I'm going to say you have to ban something, because that's too much.
Well, when is the next banned and restricted update? Soon, right?
Yeah.
They usually do one with each set release.
A couple weeks after release,
it's
or
a week
as
and
they
a half
release,
or
or
2
something.
weeks or something after they release. But yeah, so I mean, there'll
be one before
event is.
Let's see.
But I mean,
well, we just had Oakland, so the next one would be Toronto in February, beginning of February.
A while away, yeah.
Man. Well, it's like less than a month. It is a month, exactly a month away.
A month away.
Yep.
So, like, if we, in Toronto, which we're playing in, like, for example, like, if you're going to have to play against KCI and, like, you're playing Tron, what do you do?
I lose.
Right, because that's why Tron isn't in any of these top 8s, right?
very bad versus KCI.
Yeah, it's got to be awful. It's just miserable.
It's not really winnable.
Right. What do you do? Yeah, you can't do anything, right?
Can't.
It's just the nature of your deck just can't beat KCI, right?
Yeah. Like, you can't, if you're on the play and you play like a turn 3 Karn and just stone rain them.
Yeah, over and over. Like, that's what you have to do, right?
That's kind of how you can get it. There's some games where, you know, a well-timed Thought-Knot Seer can kind of just snag a KCI and then you're kind of okay. But most of the time, it doesn't really play out like that. They just kind of get an early KCI and
you just die instantly.
You just can't interact with them.
Yeah.
Like, so it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no Tron anywhere in these. And leading up to these tournaments, though, there was Tron like sprinkled here and there.
Yeah.
But it's just gonzo.
Well, KCIs, I think a lot more people are playing the deck
They've
now.
just switched to it, yeah.
And
so do you think people still play it as much at Toronto, or do you think people think that it gets hated out and play, you know, hit the classic metagame switch of like, I'm going to play the decks that, you know, beat the decks that play KCI?
I don't know. I think if you can have access to KCI for that tournament, I don't think you're playing anything other than that.
Yeah. Well, I would play Phoenix, probably. I think Phoenix is strong.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
I know some people played Burn because they don't think, you know what I mean? Burn was close to top 4ing, like, or doing well at the SCG, which is like Team Modern.
Yeah.
Just because it has an okay KCI matchup. But the problem is the deck just...
It's Burn.
It's Burn.
Like,
it's not good. Like, it's just not a good deck.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just not a good deck. You lose to so many things, and
it's a day 1 deck. It's not a day 2 deck.
Yeah, it's just inconsistent and bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just bad. But even if you have a good KCI matchup, I mean, it's Modern also. Like, if you go to this GP, it's sort of,
you could very easily just not play
against KCI the entire all 15 rounds. You know, that's entirely possible because that's how Modern works.
Yeah.
So it's sort of weird. It's like Modern is like, you just want to know what your sideboard cards are. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. If you're going to a Modern tournament, you have to just know your sideboard for every single matchup possible. Yeah. Exactly what you're going to board and how you're going to board.
Yeah, you're kind of at the point now where if you want to be playing Tron, I don't think you should be mono green anymore. You either have to go to like the green-white lists so you can play something like Rest in Peace, or you have to play black and just hope your Thought Seizes are good enough.
Would you play Thought Seize and Thought-Knots here? The Thought Squad?
You could. Depends how
hateful you want to be.
Yeah.
I think you have to be.
Yeah.
Rest in Peace is pretty tempting, actually, though, because that kind of solves like multiple matchup issues.
Mm-hmm.
The green-white version is probably pretty strong right now.
Yeah, like if I was playing in a Modern tournament this weekend, I would only play Tron. I'd probably just play green-white.
Yeah, because Rest in Peace and Path are both reasonable options, because Path is actually good against the Phoenix decks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting rid of a thing in the ice that's flipped even. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably have actually a good matchup versus them, though.
I don't really know if you're worried about that matchup.
Game 1, you're going to smash them. Game 2, it gets harder, but still not that hard. They have to have their sideboard cards or they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just not doing enough powerful things versus you. So that's another reason probably Phoenix is positioned really well. So Tron's gone, because those sort of goofy blue-red decks sort of play out like Jund decks and Grixis decks. And those decks ain't beating Tron.
No. God, no. Especially when you just rely on your graveyard so much more out of the Phoenix deck, and you just have incidental graveyard hate. Main deck
in Relic.
Tron.
Yeah. But because I've lost playing both Jund and just Grixis Delver decks, like even Delver decks, and like you just aren't fast enough, and then they just one-shot you, basically, is what it feels like. You know, Cam's been there too. You just remember how miserable it is? Like,
oh yeah.
Is there anything worse than playing like a fairish deck versus Tron?
I don't know, some sort of like disease.
It's so like
it's bad, yeah.
It's so like, even with counter magic, it just doesn't matter. It's not enough. Like, you can't pressure them
because you can't develop if you have to hold up counter magic, but you have to hold it up early enough because they're going to Karn you.
Yeah, the Phoenix deck is probably a good matchup for you. But yeah, it's just KCI keeping you down, right? Well,
Yeah,
you're probably gonna play Tron in Toronto though.
I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. I have a month to decide.
I think you just roll with it.
If KCI gets banned by Toronto, I'm playing Tron. If it doesn't, might play something
Probably
else.
still playing Tron. Let's face it.
But we'll see. Yeah.
Just play Eldrazi Tron.
Oh, yikes.
Yep.
Why would I ever do that?
The green red Eldrazi. You know what I'm gonna actually? You know what I should play just for the memes? I should just sign up for the main event and play Ponza. Just go for your terrains.
Yo, we got a terrain there, sir.
Yeah, not anymore. Just an old robber baron coming for your lands. Send up shop.
What happened to that mono green devotion deck?
It sucks.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about how it was better than we thought. For a
It
while.
is definitely better than you think, but
when you think it's absolute terrible garbage, being better than that doesn't really say
All right,
much.
fair enough.
it can. No, the thing is also it's in a world where it can't compete versus
Yeah, I guess
the
it's
current
just so
decks.
slow. Yeah.
It's too slow. Like, but if there were more fair decks, it's very good because it's like it's a ramp deck.
Mm.
You're just playing a ramp deck.
Yeah, but no one plays fair in Modern these days.
Yeah, it's just
So-
it's too fair.
Mhm.
And
Right.
in that it's a ramp deck and that it does nothing for the first like 3 turns.
Can't do that. I don't think Modern will ever be like a format where you can just do stuff like that.
You can goof around, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the deck is still definitely better than you think. I think Ponza is also definitely better than you think. It top 8 GP this year, in 2018. Not this year. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like within the last 12 months, that top 8'd a tournament. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, turn 2 Stone Rains. What do you know what I mean? Like it's gonna get
Yeah.
someone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone cast like Serum Visions on turn 1 and you were on the plane, you just Stone Rain them and they just
Was the one that
lose.
top aided the one that because that deck normally plays? Was it? Do they play Koth? Was that?
No, that's
Oh.
the mono red. That's the
Okay.
terrible,
Yeah,
terrible
never mind.
squid red.
Yeah,
deck.
you're talking about Scred, right?
That deck's terrible.
Because I remember reading somewhere that some deck, I thought it was Ponza, started playing Hazarats.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. They definitely did, though. They did. And so did Ponza.
Yeah. Okay.
They
I
top
think
it. The one
Ponza's-
you're thinking of had
Yeah.
Hazards.
They started playing Chandra's too, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've been playing Chandras for a long time. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I keep lists. I keep track of Ponza lists because I actually love that deck. Because they play like for a long time. They were playing Stormbreath Dragon and Inferno Titan.
Right on.
Those cards were nuts in standard.
Well, yeah. Stormbreath's actually insane. Because
Yeah.
Stormbreath doesn't have a path and
Mhm.
or bolt, so like nothing in Modern kills it essentially. So like,
That is crazy.
yeah, it just lines up really well. But the problem is, yeah, Inferno Titan's obviously huge. The problem is like Titan's slow, so I think they still play it, but Chandra's just actually a faster clock a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Hazards are fine, but like, yeah, it's just a main deck blood moons and deck's really troll. I have it put together. Oh, and it plays tireless. It switched to playing tireless trackers, right? Which is
Yeah.
a huge boon for that deck.
Yeah.
Because it gave you card advantage and a way to keep going and kind of get past with the fact that you're playing Utopia Sprawls and Arbor Elves.
Yeah.
Maybe should I play that deck in Toronto and just troll?
You got a month to convince yourself.
All right, I'm convinced.
That didn't take long.
I love Ponza. It's just so obnoxious.
Can you cast 3 Stone Rains in one turn and bring back your Arc like Phoenix?
Oh, are you talking about playing Ponza Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh man, we should try and make this deck.
Ritual, Stone Rain.
Metamorphose, Stone Rain you. Like, yeah. Just Metamorphose, Stone Rain you.
And like a
attack for
Faithless
3.
Looting.
Yeah, looting, attack for 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, that deck can play lootings too.
Yeah.
Coming for your terrain. Huh. All right. Anyway. But yeah, there's definitely some decks getting kicked out of the meta right now, though. Tron,
Mm-hmm.
Jund, the slower, grindier fair decks are just having a tough time right now.
Yep.
Control still kind of holding on, but also, the decks that it preys on are also being sort of kicked out of the format, right? So we're sort of left with this bottleneck of,
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget about Dredge either. It didn't top 8 this weekend, but that deck has been around,
right. Yeah.
putting up results as well. But Dredge's probably, how does that deck line up versus KCI?
Just a race.
Just a race. Just 2 ships passing in the night.
Yeah, just a complete race.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
I mean, it's just like a Casey mirror, right?
Yeah.
Just race.
Well, you guys been playing a lot of Standard? Can you get off Modern?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for Modern. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen. I wish there were more tournaments before Toronto so I could kind of see, because this looks miserable.
It's going to be
before
like,
we move off. I just want to say, I don't know what the solution is.
Someone more versed in the format than us, I suppose, either has to solve this or start shifting the meta, or WotC has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start paying more attention to just sort of like moto lists and what's happening in the metagame, just so I can have an idea for Toronto of what's going on and what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably start going out some
Weeknight Modern?
Yeah, and you know where I'm going to go to Weeknight Modern?
Where would that be?
I'm going to go to the Wizards Tower.
I heard it's a great place to play Magic.
Yeah, modern events are huge there. Mondays and Wednesdays, they always fire. Massive. Sometimes they're like 40 people for just a...
Yeah, people love Modern here.
Yeah, Modern. Yeah, the Modern community is huge here. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to play, or if you want to order any singles online, they have free shipping in Canada.
Pre-order your Ravnica Allegiance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sign up for pre-releases at Wizards Tower now. Pick a guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come battle us at the pre-release on the weekend of the 18th or 19th or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be playing both events on the Saturday.
Nice.
I can play Saturday and maybe Sunday morning. I have a flight Sunday evening, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're going to...
I'm going to St. John, Newfoundland.
Nice.
Or
Why?
St. John's.
for a conference.
Conference.
Yeah.
Neat.
So...
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm not really sure what the solution is. Part of me wants to just say, play whatever you like and play what you're comfortable with and just know your sideboards.
There is an SCG open this weekend, which is Modern. So
we'll see. We'll get a lot of information from that, actually. SCG is always actually a very good determiner for Modern because they have tons of Modern events and they're kind of a lot of innovators in there for Modern. So
They have a ton of people who, write about Modern all the time as well.
Yeah.
So
it'll be good. Yeah, but I did play a lot of Standard, especially while I was sort of... If I had access to a computer while I was traveling, I'd play a lot of Arena Standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's still great.
Of course it is.
It's the metagame is evolving and interesting and cool.
Yeah.
I was playing a bunch before I left. Didn't play while I was back in Alberta, but put together Mono Blue as soon as I got back.
Of course.
Well, because I got tired of playing the same decks all the time. And had a chest or a vault or whatever they're called, which gave me enough cards to craft up some gins, and then the rest was just commons and uncommons. And I got a ton of wild cards of those. So
sweet.
Yeah, put it together, started smashing.
Nice.
Well, didn't start smashing. I played against like 2 Jeskai control the first back-to-back first 2 games, and just got Clarion like 4 times, and
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, started smashing.
Man, Mono Blue's so popular here in Ottawa.
And now online as well.
Yeah. Second most played deck, right?
It's on MTG Goldfish for Moto results. Yeah, it's
Wow.
currently the second most played deck. That's nuts.
Must be a lot of Moto grinders listening to this podcast.
Can't blame them. In fact, shout outs to one of our listeners who won one of the last, because RIP PPTQ system.
Oh, yeah, F.
Yeah.
But one of our listeners messaged us and he won PPTQ with Mono Blue using the sick transmogrifying wand tech we talk about on the podcast.
Nice.
In the sideboard.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Taking down his PTQ with the blue boys and boo.
With the boys in blue, yeah. Pretty awesome. So love to hear a listener smashing some tournaments with that. Any other success stories too, feel free to message us. I just get hype when I hear like listeners talking about, hey, I won this tournament playing this thing, and especially if it's like hilarious sideboard tech, that we talked about on the podcast, and it is really good, pretty good tech actually. But that deck's really, really popular.
Yeah, our friend P. Sams was in town visiting, and we went and played a Standard event at Tower, and he brought Jeskai Drakes, splashing for Clarion, and some sideboard cards. And at the end of the event, he kind of lamented that he didn't make any deck building concessions to Mono Blue, and there were 3 people in the room playing it, and he played against it like 3 times.
He refuses.
3 out of 8.
So funny. He refuses to to respect that deck because he hates Islands so much that it has blinded him.
But he's playing Jeskai.
I know, but it's blinded him from his ability to recognize and respect a good aggressive deck when he sees it because
it's blue.
Yeah. Because of his hatred for all things Island.
It's 2019. Such prejudice should be behind us.
Yeah.
Islands are cards too, man.
He just wants to attack, turn cards sideways, and he just can't understand when blue things do it.
No, the deck is good.
The deck is very good, and it took people a long time to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting some new cards too with the new set.
Yeah, spoiler episode next week.
Yeah.
Talk about our predictions.
Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, always a good time.
It's like mono blue's been sort of accepted or becoming more accepted in its weird way, though, that as soon as someone accepts that it's a good deck, they immediately build it and play it. And everybody who's not playing it still won't acknowledge that it's good.
Yeah, the minute you accept it, you build it.
Yeah, because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, okay, I guess, and then they'll try it. But it hasn't been accepted in that people are thinking about sideboard strategies for it.
I don't even know what cards are good against it in a lot of matchups. What do you not want to see when you've been playing it?
What do I... well, hands without Curious Obsession.
Yeah, I feel like the fail state is actually you just drawing garbage.
It's like more the deck that fails than something your opponent did.
Yeah.
But generally just fast starts. A Wild Growth Walker or two, and then a bunch of Explore creatures is hard because then they can outrace you because you can't ever remove it. If they have one Explore creature, sometimes you can Trickster it or you can race that life. But
yeah, my friend Dave was over and we were playing before I left, and he was like, we were playing green black and we had a good start with Wild Growth Walker and some Jade Light Rangers. And I'm like, do we leave this back or what do we do? He's like, no, just attack. He's like, they can't race. They have nothing. What you see is what you get. He's like, this is it for mono blue. He's like, trust me, just smash. He's like, because if you're ever attacking them, you're probably winning. Like what they have is what they have. You know what I mean?
Like they're going to fly over you, and their creatures aren't generally big enough to trade.
So you just have to attack.
So you have to attack back.
Yeah, he's like, that's it. This is just a race.
So someone smashed me because they understood this. It was Jeskai Control. I was mono blue versus Jeskai Control. I win game one, and I expect them to try and bring in like seal aways and other things. They just go turn 3 Legion War Boss, turn 4 Legion War Boss, and I died because I have no removal.
Yeah.
Didn't leave a counterspell out because I wasn't expecting a War Boss.
Yeah,
wasn't expecting a second War Boss. So also,
wow. That shout outs to that guy. Yeah,
yeah. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, this guy understands.
Yeah, the matchup.
That, yeah, you just race.
Yep, it's. All matchups you have to play like that with mono. It's just a race because...
Or Ritual of Soot. Ritual of Soot's also really bad.
Yeah, but they can counter that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but only 4 of your spells. Like your Dive Downs don't work. Your Siren Storm Tamers don't work.
Yeah, Wraths or... Yeah. Well, specifically that one. Because Clarion, you can dive down and keep a guy alive.
Yes.
And like yada yada. Yeah. It's an interesting point. Yeah, it's really important in that deck. Yeah, to just race them. No matter what you're playing, you have to race.
Yeah.
Because you're not winning by... sitting back.
Yeah, if you're a control deck, bring in those creatures that you have for control mirrors.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Get your tips on, especially now because the deck's seeing a lot more play. People are going to see a lot more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake people make. Yeah, Wild Growth Walker is really good against, if you can get the life, because it is just a race, right?
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of the Path of Discovery green-white list.
Oh, yeah?
That deck is hilarious. Like, once you have Path of Discovery out, the game's, as long as you're not dead, you know what I mean? Like, if the game goes long, you can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter.
What's the biggest march you've cast in with Paths out?
So I had 3 Paths out, and I marched for 13. And I had a Tristani Discordant in play already, and then a Shalai as well. And so I marched for 13 or whatever it was, and then most of them, I think maybe the first 1 or 2 hit a land, and then I left whatever was on top.
Yeah.
And it was an Immortal Sun. So I cast my Immortal. I was gonna Shalai activate, and then I ended up having enough. It was really late game. It was versus green black, and they had a huge board of like Wild Growth Walkers and a bunch of life. But this just obviously killed them.
Yes.
Because I attacked. They went to like negative 135 because I played the Immortal Sun and then pumped with Shalai and attacked with everything.
With like 25 5s.
Yeah, and they were like a bunch of So yeah. And I had like Wild Growth Walkers in play, so I was at like 300 life because 13 creatures explored 3 times, right? So my Wild Growth Walker was like, oh yeah, I was at like 300 or 400 life. Like it was very laggy.
I'm shocked your game just didn't crash.
It was very laggy. Like you could tell, like Arena was starting to have a hard time. Like when I got roped actually, and so what happens if anyone's interested is that because I still had all of my explore options on the stack, it just leaves them on top.
Oh,
and then it gave me all my counters on all my guys from the march. Yeah, so it doesn't actually like screw you over in any way, kind of like.
Because if it didn't, it would just deck you maybe.
Yeah, that's what my concern was. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen, but because I roped and I just nothing I could do. I was trying to click everything.
That's really annoying. Is that the rope isn't like it doesn't know if you're doing things or not.
Yeah,
it just cares what phase you're in.
Well, kind of like we'll like move up a time, but it's not. You don't have enough time. Like I tried, and I have a very good gaming desktop, right? And I'm sitting there trying to jam in.
I've had like minimal time where like I thought about blocks, or like I was tanking on blocks or something, and then block, and then like go to march, and like just while trying to click all the creatures to convoke, if you have like 4 sapperlings, because they move so slowly.
Yeah.
That it starts roping.
But the downside of that is like someone control you by constantly like convoking cancel to like rope you out of the, to like if they're gonna lose, so someone could stall the game. So they do have to do that.
That is a good point.
Way, because the reverse of that is really bad.
Yeah. I just don't think about anything malicious like that because I'm a good dude.
Yeah, well, I am not. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that deck actually, like, if it can set up, is pretty strong though. Like, just Path of Discovery is a really powerful card.
I played against it once, and they resolved a path on 4, and they resolved a path on 5, and I was like, played a couple more creatures. They resolved a path on 6, and I was like, I didn't cobble together enough to race this, and then they just did whatever, and I lost immediately on turn 7.
Well, if they play a Wild Growth Walker, it's basically over. Like it's a deck that is just all in on Wild Growth Walker being just if they get it and it lives, just the game's over because you can't kill them because the whole plays Tristani. They play out Tristani and gain 1 billion life.
Yeah,
like that's the whole point of the deck is that it's March actually sucks in that deck, by the way. So you board it out almost in every matchup.
I mean, if you're taking turns off to Cath Pass, you don't have creatures to convoke with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just bad. You don't need it. Like Tristani Discordant will just that card's actually demented.
It's very good.
Tristani?
Yeah. It's so good. And not as like a combo, like March. It's just as a, value mid-range card. I think that card ends up we see that card a lot in the future coming up. It's really good.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
Card's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's a card I want to play around more with. I mean, I think even it, now that we have perfect mana, it sees play across a bunch of different combinations now, right? Like this is a card that Naya aggro would be okay with playing. Like Riot decks, right?
Yeah.
Like the Fires of Yavimaya deck.
Could you imagine that card with Rhythm of the Wild?
Because with Rhythm of the Wild?
Wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's nuts.
Your 2/2 tokens have haste if you want, or they're 3/3s.
Or they're 3/3s.
Or one of them's a 3/3 and one has haste.
Who knows? Tristani Discordant, give it haste. Put token, attack you for 1, put counters up these guys.
The fact that that Tristani enters with a counter, so you don't have to do any other work to play around finality.
Yeah,
that's a massive thing.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of things with Tristani that, you know what I mean? We're just scratching the surface of. Also, the fun part about the Path of Discovery deck is you get to play with. Well, you can play with Vivian Reeds if you want, or you can just play Immortal Sun like a Chad and just
like a Chad.
Immortal Sun is sweet.
It's just so sweet, man. It just feels so good. Like I've had like so many people because you like slam Vivian. I'm like, sweet, like untap, just slam Immortal Sun. Because nothing outgrinds Immortal Sun.
No.
Like, nothing.
No.
The card is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so grindy, and it's sweet that like Vivian is every green deck's main board removal spell basically for an artifact or enchantment, and you just Immortal Sun them, and they just can't do anything. But yeah, Tristani and plus that, whatever Rhythm of the Wild. That's actually a sweet.
Yeah, that is. I wanted to kind of get into this now. Like, are there any cards from?
Yeah, well, for people who don't know, we should explain what Rhythm is.
Yeah,
at least.
So Rhythm of the Wild is it's an enchantment. It's 1, a green, a red, and generic, and it reads creatures you control, creature spells you control can't be countered, and then creatures you control have Riot. So
as they enter, you choose either they have haste or a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
So with Tristani, that is sick.
Yeah, this enchantment is sweet, and I can't wait to play decks with it.
Yeah, I think like Naya decks in Standard will be good. I think the fact that you can, with the mana now being good for green-red, the fact that you have Temple Garden and
Stomping Ground.
Stomping Ground.
Yeah.
That you can go turn 1 elf into turn 1 Legion War Boss.
Turn 2, yeah.
Ooh.
Or turn 1 elf, turn 2 Legion War Boss in your like green red stompy deck. You know what I mean? Into
Legion War Boss, very good with Rhythm of the
Wild. Yeah. Like Naya tokens, like, you know what I mean? That kind of, Tristani, like big stompy, but.
You know what card needed haste that was pretty good normally in stompy decks? Galta.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cool builds with Rhythm of the Wild.
You know what card I'm very excited to play with Rhythm of the Wild? Crawl Harpooner.
Yeah, that's really good too.
Just give it like haste and like +5. Because you have
Plus-
5 creatures in the yard.
yeah.
Plus attack.
Late game plus 10, just
Yeah.
kill you.
Card seems sweet.
That's a lot less work for a huge 2-mana haste thing than Galta.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need Galta. You just play out your small guys and then
Oh, but you play out your Crawl Harpooner. It gets 12. Then you cast Galta for 2.
then hit him for 24.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, there's a lot of really, but I honestly, I think that one of the big things we'll end up seeing is just because of the mana changes, just turn 1 elf into turn 2 Legion War Boss is something we haven't really been able to do consistently. And the fact that will be a more consistent play pattern is terrifying. Because on the play, that's a lot.
It's aggressive.
Yeah. A lot of people, that just might be game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just something we couldn't really do. Like you could, but the mana was so bad.
Yeah.
Tristani just scored in. Like the sort of Naya just beat down deck is probably really strong.
I think that's going to be where most of the brewing effort has to be spent, is like exploring the new mana bases. In that,
With old cards.
from the spoilers, it doesn't look like there's that many busted new cards. It's kind of obvious which ones will be good, and the rest have been kind of lackluster. And so, I think a lot of the experimentation will be, is Legion's Warblast, like, is it a Naya card? Is it a Jund card? Is it a...
Yeah. Do you want to keep the path clear, right? Like, do we just play it in Jund decks and clear the path and attack?
And so there's going to be a ton of, combinations of cards you want to put together in 3-color decks or whatever. Like, that's going to take a while to iron out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know we'll dive into like our top 10 next week for once we have the full spoiler, but are there any cards right now that's like one card that stands out to you guys that you think is like awesome or just you're excited for in general? From what you've seen?
Nothing I've seen really jumps out as...
No, but I haven't looked at them all yet because I'm waiting for full spoiler. I hate looking at partial because I don't even like full spoiler because it doesn't. To me, full spoiler is every single card legal in standard is how you have to look at it. So it's I don't like looking at anything partial. So I don't know yet. Although Rhythm of the Wild is sweet.
Yeah,
it's just a sweet card.
That one's sweet.
It's really obnoxious too for control.
But all the other cards, I've only really been seeing spoilers due to images linked in group chats. And of the cards that other people are excited about and reposting, none of them have really stood out as anything spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Planeswalkers suck.
The 3-mana Planeswalkers are not good.
Maybe they're better than I think. Who knows?
I think
everything is context. Like everything is context dependent, meta dependent.
I think Dovin is better than it looks at on the surface. But I mean, I
believe anything.
don't know. Yeah.
Like there are definitely cards legal in standard right now that don't see play that are powerful, but they just don't have the right home. Like that happens all the time in standard. That a card is very good. Like look at Bolus right now.
Yeah,
that card's nuts. Like it's an insane card, right? Just doesn't have a home. The Grixis decks just don't really line up right now in the same way, right?
Yeah.
But that card's absurd.
Damn right.
Look, I even think what's it called? Dream Eater.
Yeah.
That card's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just an insanely powerful card. Just doesn't have a home. Like it just doesn't have a good spot. And that could change. Like maybe with the breeding pool, that's all it needed was the ability to play it on turn 4 or 5 with some ramp and like some mid-range deck, some green-blue, I don't know, some Bant mid-range deck that plays it, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's so hard. Like, so maybe Dovin Bond ends up nuts, right? The other one, not a chance. What's it?
Kaya. Oh, yeah, she's bad.
That card, not a chance. That card's so bad. Is it worse than Tybalt?
Maybe. Actually, maybe not, because you could actually I think she's actually okay in like older formats,
She actually does.
like as a sideboard card. But whereas Tybalt's just unplayable everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think there's any world where you'd want her in standard.
Right.
Yeah, I can't.
But like I don't know. I haven't played with it.
The world's a crazy place.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, there's nothing yet. But I'm sure once I have full spoiler for next week, I'll be excited about some cards, and we'll let you know because our predictions usually pretty good.
Like if you're a graveyard deck, that card, like your opponent playing that card, like how do you ever do anything?
Yeah.
And then like it could just fireball you out with its ultimate. Like it could actually be good.
Yeah. It's just got to line up in such a weird position.
Yeah.
Like things have to go so right. Like everything is so context dependent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you're not stoked about the 4-mana Wrath?
What card is this?
You guys haven't seen the 4-mana Wrath?
No. It's not actually a 4-mana Wrath.
It's a 4-mana Wrath.
Yeah, well, don't troll me. It's got like restrictions and stuff, right?
Well, it's restrictions. It's mana cost. Black, white, white.
Oh.
Destroy all creatures. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you controlled that were destroyed this way.
Wow, that card's
Kaya's
actually
Wrath.
nuts.
Yeah.
Huh. I
Wow,
did not
that
see
card's
that.
actually
All right,
so
I'm excited
good.
about that.
Yeah. You guys, I can't believe you haven't seen this card yet.
No one put it in a group chat.
Yeah, that card's actually nuts.
Yeah. 4-mana Wraths are back, man.
Yeah, it was kind of restrictive mana cost.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't know
I
how.
don't know. The mana's going to be like Esper mana is going to be insane. Like that's not a concern. Esper mana is going to be amazing. Every
Yeah.
it's not Esper. Everything. All mana is going to be a perfect mana.
I was already playing Esper with Ritual of Soot and thought Ritual of Soot was pretty good. This,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably not going to gain life off it, but.
Now you ain't getting life off it, but like, what do you want? Like,
Oh, no, but if you're playing like a white-black, like, or an Esper Karn Tezzeret type thing, and like you got some Thopters sitting around, like that life could be huge.
yeah, no, yeah, it could be, yeah, with Tezzeret, with some Thopters or Karn sitting around, yeah, that is massive.
And they can't get through because your opponent has whatever that you need to kill, so.
Yeah, no, that's huge. 4-mana Wrath, huh? What a world.
Yeah. Didn't think we'd ever see it again, to be honest. But
I think they kind of maybe have realized though that just like 5-mana generic Wraths are terrible. Like even Fumigate is like
It was barely good enough.
barely good enough, and it was like actually kind of really good, compared to Cleansing Nova.
Yeah, which hasn't seen,
A bit of play.
yeah, like one copy here.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they're realizing like 5-mana Wraths are just not.
They tried for a while. Like, did End Hostilities ever see play? Or like,
No,
Crux of Fate
not
did
really.
for a while
Crux of
because
Fate
they were
because
a
of
dragon
dragons.
control deck.
Yeah,
they could leave their
exactly.
Ojutai on the field, but
Yeah, I think they've sort of learned like, wait, like if we're gonna have Wraths, like they need to be 4-mana, otherwise they're kind of meaningless.
I think 4 is a good spot too, because like playing red or playing against 3-mana Wraths is kind of annoying because you don't get the turn. Like you need that extra turn to get in damage so that your draws later can pressure control.
Yeah.
Because playing aggro against like when they just have Clarion on 3, it feels unwinnable.
Yeah. And then Clarion isn't good in other matchups. It just puts the 4-mana in a weird spot. 4-mana Wraths are fine.
And 5-mana Wraths are a bit too slow for control decks to stabilize. But 4 is kind of that like the game goes on for both the aggro player and the control player.
Yeah, I agree. I think 4-mana Wraths are fine.
Yeah.
I think they always had been. I think they're kind of like, they were upset about them,
yeah, it's just kind of crazy. It's like since I started playing Magic, we had Day of Judgment and Standard, and then we got Supreme Verdict, and then we just had nothing forever. And now we have
bad
this.
ones too.
Yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this card.
Oh, that Octopus is sweet, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah. The one that...
When it's like a 5-mana 4/5, and when it enters the battlefield, it makes 2/0/2 illusions.
Yeah.
That when they block something, they don't untap, right?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty strong.
And it has hexproof as long as you control an illusion.
Yeah.
The 4/5.
You want to quasi-duplicate that guy?
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm listening.
It's a lot of fish.
No, that card is like quite strong. Card might be like just borderline unbeatable and limited.
Oh, yeah. It's nuts.
For sure.
But like it's pretty good. Like the stats are really good. You know what I mean? Like the Birthing Pod creature, that's the kind of card that goes in like the Birthing Pod creature deck. It's like utility and like good in like, you know what I mean? Certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that card playable?
I don't know.
I think it is. People are gonna play it.
I mean...
We'll see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it depends if it's like a Carnage Tyrant format or not.
Why?
I just like those big green decks. Like it doesn't do anything. It's just a vanilla 4/5.
Oh yeah. But like that's what I mean. It's like a one of if we're out here like birthing potting, right?
Yeah.
In some situations, it's good.
Yeah.
If it's bad, we'll sack it to get our Carnage Tyrant.
True.
Or we can sack the Illusions to go get another 1-drop.
Crazy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe
That creature might be okay. I don't know. I can't decide.
the birthing pod
Yeah.
creature, Prime Speaker Vanifar.
Oh.
So the problem is it doesn't have haste,
Yeah.
but
But
Rhythm of the Wild.
Every creature you bring in also could have haste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
are they going to screw up?
Oh, is there going to be a combo with
If
Rhythm?
they're
going to
be a combo with Rhythm and that creature, and then like lets you like
What's it cost? 4 or 5?
4.
Ooh, that's a curve.
Yeah, I know. Did they screw up? I wonder if they will. I don't know. I haven't looked, but is there anything that untaps? Like there is, right? There's got to be. There's always something
Is
that
there anything that
untaps.
flickers?
No, they like.
I
I don't think there is, but I'm saying like there's still time.
don't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, anyway, that's a dangerous card though.
Yeah.
It's definitely a dangerous card.
I wonder if there's some weird like pod into looping together 2 of your hostage takers and killing someone somehow.
Can you loop hostage takers?
If
No,
you
you-
have 2 of them. I think.
I thought they changed
No,
it.
I thought they.
They changed it. Then it can't. Remember they were at
it
it.
can't target itself. Oh, it's opponents only now?
No, they definitely
Oh.
errated hostage taker.
Oh,
Right.
but you can target your own creatures. Yeah.
Right. So if you have 2 hostage takers,
Yeah.
oh, but you have to flicker the first or the second one. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
There might be some weird way to do it, but like, yeah, Rhythm of the Wild plus that creature is actually sweet because then you can just start popping off. But yeah, if there's a way to untap, there's definitely a creature that's like untap a target creature. But that seems dangerous. Okay,
I don't-
I'm just rambling.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
possibilities.
But yeah,
at
like
this point.
anything like that, like that,
You know, like-
that makes a copy of it, or that
Benoit's gonna
there's
smash
clones.
me.
There's like
Benoit's
that.
gonna smash me.
There's
with
like that
his
mirror
deck.
entity thing. You can like
Oh yeah.
clone your thing and
See
pot
this?
again.
There's multiple like mirror entity style cards, and they
Yeah,
cost
yeah.
2 or 3 mana. That's really dangerous.
I'm listening.
I
now.
am definitely
Now I'm
listening.
listening.
Yeah, now I'm like, wait a minute. Like, even just copying my octopus and stuff, that's hilarious. We need creatures that like cost 2 that make a copy of themselves so that we can sack 1 and then go get the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, no. that's-
Goblin Instigator.
No, but it's the token. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
we can just leave
right.
the token behind, but that isn't good. We need like, yeah.
Well, if you have a Carnage Tyrant and you sack something that's 2 and go get the mirror and make it a Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah, that's nuts.
What if?
You know what I mean? Like, we need a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
I'm going to look. There's got to be a way we can make like a copy of something.
Helm of the Host?
That's deep.
That is,
That is really deep.
but maybe.
But maybe. I am also listening.
Could copy your birthing pod creature and then still have another one. Sack itself. Does it sack another creature or can it sack itself?
Unclear. But like,
If it could sack itself,
that's insane.
like you can just
right?
kill people out of nowhere by like going and getting a high.
Oh no, it's sack another creature.
Yeah, it's another, yeah. But it's only
But
as a
you could
sorcery
use
too,
you could
right?
use the original one to
Yeah,
sack
yeah,
the
sorcery.
copy. Right.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there might be weird ways to like with mirror image and like, you know what I mean? Like that you
Mhm.
can start doing like really weird things. Plus it's legendary, so like we can't copy either. Well, Helm of the Host is safe though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Helm of the Host is actually busted here.
I'm sure someone will figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is a way. You know
Meanwhile,
what I mean?
you're like turn 3 casting Rhythm, turn 4 casting Helm, and just getting hit by Tempest Gins. Just dead.
Well, no, because you play like then you start tutoring up like Knight of Autumns to start gaining life and like mirror imaging your Knight of Autumns over and over again, and like you can start blowing up their Curious Obsessions and gaining 4 every turn, and like there's got to be a way. I'm just trying to like to come back because like we have the Kitchen Finks right
Yeah.
in Knight.
Yeah. You're gonna be playing.
We need to find all the copies of pod creatures, like the versions.
Yeah,
'Cause we
yeah.
have the Necrotal, like we have Chupacabra.
Right.
Yeah.
And that because
You know what I
Chupacabra
mean?
sucks after it's done killing something, but now you just
Now
upgrade
you just
it
get rid of it
and go get an octopus.
yeah, or like a bust. No, we just go get Lyra.
Oh, also good. Yeah, but then we're okay, we're just 4 color or 5.
Yeah,
All right. Lyra's
man,
pretty good.
perfect. Yeah, we go get Lyra or like, yeah, whatever. Who knows? Like, and then you sack Lyra if like you need to, and you go get that Ravager Worm guy that fights if you need a removal spell.
Mm. Okay.
But we
Does
need a
it
way
have to be
make
X+1 or
multiple-
up to X+1? Can you sack big things to go get more chupacabras?
Yeah, it has to be X+1. It's just like
Yeah.
birthing pod.
Yeah.
It's the exact same as birthing
Yeah.
pod.
For a creature with
Okay, equal
converted
to,
man cast
yeah.
equal to 1+.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly like pod.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We need persist. Like we need a way that we can sack something and we get value out of. Oh wait, there's all the guys that leave spirits behind and stuff too.
Yeah. Ooh.
There's that crazy angel that has like 2 when it dies. It's like the 4-drop angel
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that when it dies. But yeah, there's gonna be like a bunch of like.
Seraph of the Scales.
But like we don't just want persist. So like we need to find a way to put Eldest Reborn in this deck list so that like we can bring stuff back as well
Mm-hmm.
to create more value. I don't know what it is yet though. I'll report back when I do. But like that card is fun as hell. Like it's actually sweet. Like that's all I want to play.
You just gruesome menagerie back your guys and then start sacking them again.
Getting gruesome with the boys.
All the stuff you sacked early to get your big guys, just bring it back, do it again.
Oh yeah, all right, I'm listening. Wait. We get like
We have a lot of non-creature spells in this deck.
Siege Gang Commander, but it's like
Ooh.
we can go pod for that. Like there's so many utility things to pod for. You know what I mean? Like you can get like one of like crazy like good creatures. In
So you
certain
just play it.
situations.
All you do is you play Bug. You play it with your mirror image, and you can go up to like Doom Whisperer. You have your chupacabras already. Then Muldrotha up top. Start recasting.
That's how
the
you can
dudes.
add them in the graveyard.
It's
You pod for
Muldrotha.
Yeah.
You
There you
pod
go.
for Muldrotha.
with their
and
lands
then
untapped and start casting things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just keep potting things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you broke it. LP's gonna shit when he hears this.
This is nuts.
LP's gonna lose his mind when he hears this Muldrotha bit. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Clean.
Clean. We can get Lazav too if you want. Like start copying stuff. Like know what I
There
mean?
you
Like,
go. You can copy the dudes in your yard that you've been sacking.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Gruesome menagerie back later if you need to. The Muldrotha thing's actually nuts. though.
That is wild.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Because then they all your creatures have persist. Well, for mana.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Wait, and they all have haste too, or +1/+1 counters because we're playing Rhythm of the Wild.
Yeah.
That might be a little too deep.
I think you have to play that card.
Do you?
Yeah, just because like they can't be countered is huge for you because you're like going to be slow and dirtily, like mid range deck, and
Mhm.
your control matchup's going to be awful without
Yeah.
it. So I think you want that card, but also the fact that like you can just start the pod chain immediately and start doing things immediately. Also, like that card making your octopus like into 1/3s,
Oh yeah.
like the illusions it makes into 1/3s, is like that's nuts, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because then you shut. That's like a brick wall in aggro decks.
Yeah, you just elf
Mhm.
rhythm,
You just pod to that thing and then like, okay, we're good.
elf rhythm, turn 3 pod, make your elf into something.
Yeah, make your elf into like a good 2-drop, like I don't know, Thorn Lieutenant or something.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then, play your Chupacabra, kill one of their guys,
Yeah.
sack Chupacabra, go get Octopus. They have +1 counters. Like that's nuts. That actually is like a bust no
That's
curve.
that's wild.
That's actually nuts, is it not?
Yeah, it seems cute, but
I don't know if it's cute. I think that's busted. And then if you have like the angel and stuff, you sack that, you get like life gain later to
Except
make it
what
up.
was our curve? It was green on 1,
this mana
then
base
red
is
on
very,
2, then blue
Dude,
on
Rainbow
3,
Lich won a
and
tournament.
then double black on 4.
Yeah, easy.
This
Okay.
mana base is very ambitious, but
Rainbow Lich won a tournament before it even had good mana.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we'll play Chromatic Lantern maybe one.
Like
or
I don't
two.
think you. Yeah, you didn't play during like last Ravnica when like
No,
mana
I
was
didn't.
perfect.
No.
Oh yeah, no, we're good. Don't
Okay,
worry. Don't
okay.
worry. Like this will be fine. Trust me.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah,
yeah.
trust me. This will work.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll save my excitement for next week's
Yeah.
spoiler hype.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So tune in then.
All right. We've got to do some shout outs to all of our patrons who have stuck with us.
Stick.
Stuck,
Continue to
whatever,
stick.
Who continue to stick with us. Do you wanna read these off?
Who are you asking?
I don't know, any of you.
Okay.
Cam can do it.
Yeah, so big shout outs to Tim, Thomas, Phil, Trevor, Mike, Ursulus, Aaron, Will, James, Daniel. And there's more. Jay Thomas, Domingo, Tyler, and everyone else who's a patron. Your support has been great.
It warms my cold dead hard. It actually is like
it's been
it helps so like especially when I'm talking about Cam having to buy my groceries and stuff. Patron support is like the feeling of like for me that is hard to really describe
and so if you want to be a patron, check us out at patreon.com/DWC Podcast. And speaking of, one of the ones we just shouted out, Ursulus, super active in the Discord, and this blowout of the week comes from his post in Discord. He was recently at GP Vancouver playing side events, which is hype. I think that was also at our advice. So he's playing standard side events. He's playing, what is he playing? He's playing green-black against Jeskai Control. He's in game 3. He mulls to 4, and his opponent proceeds to kill everything he plays and like board wipe, always having like O-rings and such. And it ends up that his opponent has a handful of cards. He top decks Carnage Tyrant, but it gets settled. And then his opponent has a Teferi on 8. And Ursulus top decks Eldest Reborn. Somehow his opponent just doesn't have a counterspell in like his mid full of cards.
Which is actually the best part.
The Eldest Reborn resolves, gets the Teferi. He then later, or his next draw is a Vivian, which he plays.
Which also then resolves.
Which also resolves because it didn't draw a counterspell because the Teferi died. Next turn, Eldest Reborn pops, gets back Teferi. And the way this lines up is that a couple turns later, he ultimates Vivian and Teferi at the same time. And then like attacks his opponent with the creatures he's been playing off the Teferi. And his opponent like exasperatedly like tries to Justice Strike something to stay alive, and he gets to point to Vivian's emblem where it says indestructible. Just hand him the match slip.
Okay, that's actually really good. The Justice Strike is the best part.
He's like, my guys can't die. And his opponent just takes lethal.
Guess I shouldn't have settled that Carnage Tyrant. That's pretty good.
Just the string of draws. Through no counterspell somehow.
Through no counters. That is, if I'm on the control side, I'm just like, come on, please.
And he rolled to 4.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
That is actually nuts.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got some foil Eldest Reborns coming your way.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, we got to ship them
the tokens.
The tokens when they arrive, which are on their way.
We've just been waiting for them to get here from the United States.
Yeah.
So
we can send those together with them.
We have all the patrons thing. What's it called?
Yeah.
Info to send them. So. But yeah.
All right. I guess that does all for this week. Well, it was a long one.
It was a good start to 2019. We had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it was a good reunion.
We derailed a few times, but...
Yeah. Well, how long was the episode? Because we had to put 3 weeks of stuff in there, right?
We're almost at 78 minutes right now.
Should have been an hour and a half. Or it should have been 3 hours. 3 weeks. We had 3 weeks to make up. Should have been a 3-hour episode.
We can keep going.
Well, yeah, let's just keep going.
Do like night classes. We'll give our listeners like 15-minute break for lunch.
Then we'll come back.
And then we'll come back and do the other hour and a half.
No, because next week I guarantee you we go over time too.
Oh, yeah. The spoiler episodes always
it's
go over.
Arbitrary amount of time.
Yeah. A lot of spoilers.
Yeah, we go over our arbitrary limit.
That we set. That
for some reason. Why do we do that?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Just otherwise, because when we used to not really have a limit, we will end up talking for 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we don't put a limit on our conversation, we will continue to go for 4
Yeah, and a couple people complain that like some episodes, they're like, my drive to work's like an hour and a half, but your episode wasn't done.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, think about it. Like our pre-show this week was like 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been at this for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot to catch up on.
If you too want to listen to the pre-show, become a patron at patreon.com/DWC Podcast.
Get access to our Discord and other sweet rewards. But
yeah.
Thank
you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic Signal needs, pre-orders for Ravnica Allegiance, and sign up for pre-release. If you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1, also on Facebook, the Disorganized Wizard Club Podcast. Shoot us a message. If there's anything you want us to talk about on the show, or just chat us up, we respond to everybody very quickly. And
anything at all, even like hey, how's your day?
Yeah, and however you listen to the podcast, whether it's on Podbean, iTunes, Podcast app, Google Play, leave us a review, share the podcast with your friends. Everything helps this thing keep growing, and let's kicking off 2019 on the right foot, I think. And
here's
to another year of the DWC.
All right, see you next week.
Later.